Hello friends, welcome to second lecture in the group theory. In our previous lecture, we have already seen in the group structure in the square, the group of symmetries of a square and an equilateral triangle. So basic idea about groups we are having with us. Now in today's lecture, we are going to see the formal definition of a group, some of the properties and certain examples of groups. So let us begin. So first of all, because we should have a binary operation on a set to define a group. So what is a binary operation? Suppose that you are having a set G, then a binary operation on G is a function that assigns each ordered pair of elements of G an element of G. That means you are having a operation and you are combining two elements with that operation. If A and B are two elements and the operation is a star, and I'm composing the two elements like A star B, then the result of A star B is also in your set G. So we are not going out of the set. We are within the set combining two elements and the result is in the same set. So such an operation is called binary operation. So this thing A star B belongs to G, that holds for all the elements A and B in G. So if such an operation exists, then we call that operation is binary operation on that set. So let us define group. So what do we have? We have a non-empty set G together with a binary operation, and usually we call that operation as multiplication. And what is that operation doing? That operation is assigning to each ordered pair A comma B of elements of G an element in G, that is denoted by AB. Then we say that G is a group under this operation if the following three properties are satisfied. And the properties are associativity, identity, and inverse. Now let us see the properties. So what is associativity? The operation is associative if AB into C is same as A into BC for all ABC in G. So if this holds for all ABC in G, then we say that the operation is associative. Next is identity, the existence of identity element. There is an element E, the identity element is denoted by E. There is an element E in G such that AE is equal to EA is equal to A for all A in G. So this is the property of identity element. It does not change any other element of the group. Whether you multiply this identity from the right or from the left, the element is same. AE is same as EA, same as A. So it is not affecting your element A. Such an element is called identity element. So you should have an identity element in that set. Next is inverse. So for each A in G, there is an element B in G called inverse of A such that AB is equal to BA is equal to identity. So for every element, you should have an inverse. So if A is your element, then I should find another element B such that A into B same as B into A is equal to identity. So these are the three properties: associativity, identity, and inverse that we need to check on a set with a binary operation. Now what are abelian groups? If a group has the property that AB is equal to BA for every pair of elements A and B, then we say that the group is abelian. That is, this is your commutative property. So if for every AB you have this commutative property, then we say that the group is an abelian group. So Abel was a mathematician, and after his name, this name is given abelian group. And what are non-abelian groups? Non-abelian groups, that means if you can find a pair or some pair of elements A and B for which commutativity does not hold. That is, AB is not equal to BA for some A and B in G. Then we say that the group is non-abelian. And if the commutativity holds for all pairs, for every A and B in G, then we say that the group is abelian. So this is the difference between abelian and non-abelian group. Let us see some examples of group. So first is the set Z of integers under ordinary addition. If you consider the set of integers under ordinary addition, so you can easily check that this ordinary addition is a binary operation over Z. You add two integers, then the result will be an integer. So it is in Z only. Then you can check the associativity. So addition is associative also. Then existence of identity element. 0 is the identity element here. That is your additive identity. You add any integer with 0. So your integer will be same, there is no change. So that works as the identity element here. And inverse, so here you are going to find the additive inverse. So for every integer, its negative will be the inverse. So this set of integers under ordinary addition, it forms a group. Similarly, if you take the set Q of rational numbers under ordinary addition, that will also form a group. The set R of real numbers under ordinary addition, that will also form a group. So all the sets given above are groups, and in all the cases 0 is the identity element and inverse of an element is its negative. So these three are the groups. Next example is this, the set of integers under ordinary multiplication. Now the operation is multiplication. So we are saying that it is not a group. Why it is not a group? So for that we need to check all the properties. Let us see where we are failing. So first property is closure property. So you take any two integers, multiply those integers, the result will be an integer. That means the operation is closed. So in closure property, there is no problem. Next we have to check is associativity. So associativity will also hold in multiplication operation. So this is also satisfied. Next is identity element. So here you are going to see the multiplicative identity because the operation is multiplication. So one is the multiplicative identity here. So because if you multiply any integer with 1, so you will get the same integer. So 1 is working as the identity element. Now next property is the inverse. Every integer should have its multiplicative inverse. Here you cannot find the multiplicative inverse of an integer which is an integer. That is, if you are having an integer b with you and then you have to find its inverse. So what will be the inverse of b? Suppose b dash is the inverse of b, then b into b inverse is equal to 1. But here b inverse is not an integer, because if suppose you are taking 5, then inverse of 5 will be the 5 into b, such that 5 into b is 1. So b will be here 1 upon 5. So 1 upon 5 is not an integer. We are going out of the set of integers. We are going in fractions. So we are not finding an inverse of this element. So this shows that this set of integers under ordinary multiplication is not a group. Next is this example here. This is the subset of complex numbers. So in this subset, we have 4 elements, 1, minus 1, iota and minus iota. So this set under complex multiplication, it becomes a group. You can see that we have made this Kelly table. So you already know how to make a Kelly table. You are writing 4 elements, 1 minus 1 iota minus iota. Here this column wise and then row wise also. And the operation is this star is complex multiplication. So in first row, what you are doing? You are doing all these multiplication of all these elements with 1. So 1, if I am multiplying 1 with all these elements, then they will be same. 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into minus 1 is minus 1, 1 into iota is iota, 1 into minus iota is minus iota. Then in the second row, what we are doing? We are multiplying all these elements with minus 1. So minus 1 into 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 is 1. Minus 1 into I is minus I. And minus 1 into minus iota will be iota. Then third, we are multiplying with I. So I into 1 is I into minus 1 is minus I into I is I square, and I square is minus 1. So because the operation is complex multiplication. So we are doing this. Now, iota into minus iota will be 1. Similarly here, minus iota into 1 is minus iota. Minus iota into minus 1 is iota. Minus iota into iota is 1. And finally, minus iota into minus iota will be minus 1. So then from this table, you can see that all these elements are coming from this set only. We are not going out of the set. That means this operation star is closed. Basically this set is closed under this operation. So the closure property is satisfied. From this table it is visible that closure property is satisfied, and then associativity is also satisfied. Associativity you can check, you can multiply any of the 3 elements and then check the associative property. So that is also satisfied here. Then the existence of identity element. From this table you can find which is the identity element. So 1 is the identity element. You are multiplying 1 with any other element. So you are getting the same element. And what are the inverses? So for 1 is the inverse because 1 into 1 is 1. Now minus, for minus 1, This minus 1 is the inverse because minus 1 into minus 1 is your 1. For iota, minus iota is the inverse because iota into minus iota is giving you 1. And here for minus iota, your inverse is iota. So from here you can say that this set, the basically which is the subset of complex numbers, it forms a group under complex multiplication. Now let us see this example. Here you are having this set of positive rational numbers q plus, and the operation is ordinary multiplication. Now from example 4, so what was the example 4? Let us see example 4 is this, the set of integers under ordinary multiplication. This was not a group. Now come here. From example 4, we know that this set of integers under ordinary multiplication is not a group. Why it was not a group? Because it failed at the property 3 when we were finding the inverses. Inverse of an integer was not an integer there, but that was a fraction. That was a rational number. But here what do you have? You have the set of rational numbers. So now you have a broader set. The rational numbers are here. That means from that example, it is clearly visible that the set of positive rational numbers under ordinary multiplication, it forms a group because all other properties were already satisfied and we were filling it inverse only. But inverse will be satisfied here because here we are taking the set of positive rational numbers. So here the set of positive rational numbers, so that property will also hold here, hence it forms a group. Next is this example, the set S of positive irrational numbers together with 1 under multiplication. What you are taking? The positive irrational numbers, and 1 is also there, and the operation is multiplication. So this set is not a group because the first property of closure won't be satisfied here. So first of all, we have to check the closure property. You are taking two positive irrational numbers and then multiplying them, then you should get a positive irrational number as a result if the closure property is satisfied. So here we have given this counter example. You can take this irrational number under root 2 and you multiply it with itself. So root 2 into root 2 is 2, which is not an irrational number. So closure property is not satisfied, so it fails at stage 1 only. So there is no need to check the other properties. So it is not a group. Next is this, the set of all 2 cross 2 matrices with real entries under matrix addition. So this is an important example. Here we are taking set of all 2 cross 2 matrices with real entries. So the entries are coming from the real numbers and the operation is matrix addition. So you already know how to add two matrices. They are added component wise. If you have these two matrices A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H, and according to this set, these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, they are real numbers. And if you are adding these two numbers, these two matrices, then this will be A plus E, B plus F, C plus G, and D plus H. So, and you know that this set of real numbers is closed under addition. So A plus E will be a real number, B plus F will be a real number. Similarly, C plus G and D plus H, they are real numbers. So that means we can say that this resulting matrix, which is coming after the addition of these two matrices, this is from your set. That means the set is closed under matrix addition. So the closure property is satisfied. So next properties you can which needs to be checked are associativity, then existence of identity and inverse. So next property which needs to be checked is associativity. Associativity you can easily check. You take two matrices, this and this, add them, and then add the result with this ij, kl. So this will be same as this thing. So this is associativity. Next is identity. Because the operation is addition, so here zero matrix will work as the identity matrix. You add any matrix with the zero matrix, you will get the same matrix. So this is identity. Next is inverse. So because the operation is addition, so for any matrix A, minus A will be its additive inverse. So matrix to any non-zero matrix, so inverse of this ABCD will be this minus A, minus B, minus C, minus D. Thus we can say that the set of all 2 by 2 matrices with real entries that form a group under matrix addition. So all the properties are satisfied. So let us see this example, example 9. Here we have taken the group of integers modulo n. So here it is denoted by Zn, and elements of Zn are 0 to n minus 1. Here n is greater than or equal to 1. So if you are having Z4, then Z4 will be 0, 1, 2, 3. In Z6, you will be having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to n minus 1 elements. So this is Zn, and the operation is addition modulo n. So addition modulo n means if you are taking two elements from Zn, suppose you are talking about Z5, then from Z5 you can take two elements. So in Z5 you will be having 0 to 4. So let us take 3 and 4. So if I am taking 3 and 4 and adding them modulo n. So 3 plus 4 will be 7, and under modulo n that will be 2, because 7 minus 5 will be 2. So what addition modulo, and that means you are dividing that number 7 with 5 and the remainder is your answer. So that is the modulo n operation. So basically in Zn you are taking addition modulo n. So we can easily verify the closure property, associativity, existence of identity, and inverse for each element in this set. And for any j greater than 0 in Zn, the inverse of j is n minus j. This is the inverse, and this group is called the group of integers modulo n. So let us take this example. From this example, it will be clear. So as I told you, Z5 will be having these these 5 elements: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 to n minus 1. Here n is 5. So first of all, let us make this Kelly table. So you are having this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 column wise and row wise also, and the operation is a plus b mod n, addition modulo n. So first take this row. So here what you are doing, you are adding every element with 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 0. So they are same because adding 0 is not changing them. Next is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So as you have reached 5 here, and 5 is in Z5, in addition modulo 5, Z5 will be 0. You divide 5 by 5 and the remainder will be 0. So this will be 0. Next here, 2 plus 0 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 3 is 5. So that will be 0 under modulo 5, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So that uh, 2 plus 4 is 6, that will be 1 under modulo 5. Next is this, 3 plus 0 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5, which is 0, and 3 plus 3 is 6, which is 1 under modulo 5, and 3 plus 4 is 7, which is 2 under modulo 5. 4 plus 0 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, which is 0, 4 plus 2 is 6, which is 1, 4 plus 3 is 7, which is 2, and 4 plus 4 is 8, which is 3 modulo 5. So from this table, you can see that all these elements are from this set only. That means under addition modulo n, this Z5 is closed. And next you can see that this 0 is associativity will also be satisfied here because these are the integers, and including 0 also. So here you can easily satisfy the associativity. Then identity, 0 is working as the identity element. Adding 0 with any other element is giving the same element. And then inverse you can check from the table only. So in this thing, inverse of 0 will be 1, because 0 inverse of 0 will be 0, because what you are doing, you have to add an element and then you should get the identity element. So adding 0 and 0 is giving you identity element, which is 0. Now adding 1 with 4 is giving you the identity element. So inverse of 1 is 4, inverse of 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 0, and inverse of 3 is 2, here it is giving 0, and inverse of 4 is 1, it is giving you 0. So all the properties of a group are satisfied here. That means this Z5 is a group. So this was in general, we were saying that Zn, which is 0, 1, 2, n minus 1, under addition modulo n, it forms a group. Next is this example. Here we are taking the set R star of non-zero real numbers under ordinary multiplication. So we are having non-zero real numbers, 0 is not included, and the operation is multiplication. So in example 4, we know that the set of integers under ordinary multiplication is not a group. In example 4, we have seen that this set of integers under ordinary multiplication is not a group because it failed at property 3, that is the inverse, because there you were having 0 also. But here we are taking non-zero elements, non-zero real numbers. Let us see that example 4 again. 7, 6, 5, 1. So this is 4. So what was this? This is the set of integers under ordinary multiplication. This was not a group and this was filling here. The inverses were not coming from integers. They were actually from real number. So come back to our example of here this. So non-zero real numbers under ordinary multiplication. So from example 4 we know that the set of integers under ordinary multiplication is not a group because it failed at property 3, that is the inverse of an integer is not an integer under multiplication. But here what you are taking real numbers, non-zero real numbers, and here it is also to be noted that we are taking non-zero real numbers, otherwise 0 will be creating a problem here in finding the inverse. So here, so inverse, you can easily say that inverse is coming from this set only because fraction will be a real number that will come in R star. So therefore, multiplicative inverse of a real number will belong to the same set and hence it forms a group. Next is this GL2R. This is also very important example. The GL2R, it is called general linear group. So what is this GL2R? GL2R is the group of all 2 cross 2 matrices with real entries and determinant is non-zero. So A, B, C, D, 2 cross 2 matrix such that A, B, C, D belong to R and AD minus BC. What is this? This is your determinant. So determinant is non-zero. So this is the set of all 2 cross 2 matrices, real entries, non-zero determinant. So it is a non-abelian group under the operation of matrix multiplication. So here operation is matrix multiplication and it is a non-abelian group. So closure property, first of all you have to check the closure property that if you multiply two matrices, two cross two matrices, real matrices, and you are multiplying under the matrix multiplication, then the result will be a matrix and the entries will be real numbers. So this set is closed. And if you are having two matrices with non-zero determinant, you multiplying them, the resultant matrix will also be a matrix with non-zero determinant. And that is clear from this result that you already know determinant of AB is equal to determinant of A and into determinant of B. So if these two are non-zero, so determinant of AB will also be non-zero. That means if you are multiplying two matrices, then the result is coming from this set GL2R only. So it is closed under matrix multiplication. So next property that is to be checked is associativity. Associativity you can check. It's a little long method, but you can check it with the help of calculations. Next is the identity element. So the operation is multiplication. So the multiplicative identity is the identity matrix 1001. So IA into AI will be your A matrix. Next is the inverse, existence of inverse. We need to show that inverse of each matrix in the set GL2R exists in GL2R. So you take any matrix, this A, B, C, D in this set, then what will be the inverse? Inverse, for inverse, what you have to do? You have to do this thing. You have to just change the places of these two numbers here. A will be here, D will be here, and change the sign of these two elements, minus B, minus C, and divide the whole matrix by the determinant. So this will be the result. So D upon AD minus BC, minus B upon AD minus BC, minus C upon AD minus BC, and A upon AD minus BC. And because AD minus BC is given non-zero, so this is well defined. So this will be the matrix of, this will be the inverse matrix of this AB, CD. Also matrix multiplication is not commutative. You can verify that matrix multiplication is not commutative. So this set GL2R under matrix multiplication, this is a non-abelian group. We have satisfied all the properties and the commutativity is not holding here. So it's a non-abelian group. Next is this example, the set of all 2 cross 2 matrices with real entries under matrix multiplication. So in previous example, what we were having all 2 cross 2 matrices with real entries and non-zero determinant. So that condition is not here. That condition is not present here. We are just having 2 cross 2 matrices, real entries under matrix multiplication. So this set will not be a group. Why? Because that this inverse property will be, not be satisfied. Because for inverse property to be satisfied, what you should have AD minus BC non-zero, the non-zero determinant, which is not given here. So this set is not a group because the condition of non-zero determinant, which is required to find the inverse of a matrix, is not given here, like in the previous example. So next is this UN. We are defining a new set UN. So basically UN is a number theoretic function, and what we are taking, the values of UN will be all the positive integers which are less than n and relatively prime to n. So for example, if I am taking n is equal to 10, then U10 will be 1379. So you can check that GCD of 1 with 10 is 1, GCD of 3 with 10 is 1, GCD of 7 with 10 is 1, GCD of 9 with 10 is 1. So these are all positive integers which are less